Welcome to Flutter Coding 101. So let's get started with Flutter Basics Part 3. Today we are going to be learning about the rest of the widgets, which are bottom navigation bar, a form widget, a text field widget, in which we will be seeing obscure text, decoration of the text field widget, and the controller that we use inside, checkboxes, radio buttons, date pickers, dialog boxes, um, drop down widgets, submit button with a snack bar. So let's get started. So as you can see, this is a new page that I have created, and in this page I have used a bottom navigation bar. So the bottom navigation bar is the bar that you see on the bottom of your application, and you can switch between different screens in a bottom navigation bar. So in a bottom navigation bar, we will be using this extend body as true. After that, we will be using the page view. We will also be declaring a page controller over here. We have declared this variable page controller, and we have declared that the initial page, that is the first page, which will be your default page over here. The selected index is a variable which we will use to move into different pages in the bottom navigation bar. So as you can see here, I have declared the bottom navigation bar. There's an on tap method inside which I'm using the set state. So this will change the state of the variable selected index and page controller. So the selected index will change to the index of the bottom navigation bar. So there are 3 items in my bottom navigation bar, and this index will be changed every single time that I switch between different items. Now I have also declared themes over here. So if you can see, there's a selected icon theme and there's an unselected icon theme. Similarly, I have selected a background color. You can choose any color according to your theme. Then there is a selected item color, and I have declared that the current index will be the selected index, which will be 0, which will be my first item. If you want it to be your second item or third item, you can declare it over here. Or you can declare it inside your selected index. So over here, I have declared it as 0, so you can just number it accordingly. um, After that, in my items, I have actually declared the bottom navigation bar item, in which I have one is the icon that the bottom navigation bar item will have, and the second is the label that it will be showing. So as you can see here, I can switch between different items, and similarly the content inside the page will also switch. If you want, instead of using a center widget over here, you can declare the name of another page. For example, if I declare the buttons page over here, I will have to call this. So once I've done this, and if I reload this, so you can see over here in home, I can see the buttons page inside. So let's start with forms. So you can see that this is a form that I have created. So in this form, the first thing that you will be needing to do is create a form key. Over here, I have initialized a form key. After this, inside my body, I will be starting my form, in which I will be, in my key argument, I will be passing the form key that I have just created. A form is used to validate a particular text field or a drop down or a radio button widget. So the form is basically used to validate if you have filled all the details, and if, for example, if it's a number, then all the 10 characters are entered or not, and if it's an email, the @ sign, or if the email is valid or not. So the form will basically validate all the details that you have entered inside. Let's move on to text form field. So the difference between a text field and a text form field is basically that if it's a simple user input, then you use text field. But if you want to use that text field inside a form and you want to validate some conditions inside it, then you use a text form field. Now inside this text form field, I have used a controller. I have declared this controller trainer name. It's a text editing controller. So whenever we want to, like for example, if we want to perform some actions on the text which we have filled inside the text editing controller, then we will be using trainer name dot text, so that way we can access the text which is inside the text editing controller, uh, inside the text form field. So over here, I have added a decoration. In this field is true, and I have added fill color as white. The label text is basically the text as you can see over here. uh, so if I click on this, the trainer name, the text which appears on the top is your label text. Since my fill color is white, these text form fields will be white in color. You can also specify the keyboard type. So there are different types which include phone numbers, email addresses. You can also specify a limit. For example, if you want it only to be 6 characters, then you can specify limits inside. Over here, I've also added a validator for the email. If it contains an @, then it's a valid email. and it won't return anything. If it does not contain an at the rate, then it will be considered as an invalid email. You can also use the regular expression to validate an email if you want to validate at the rate.com and likewise. Let's move on to radio buttons. Radio buttons. So in the radio button, one very important thing is the group value. So if you want to group 2 or 3 radio buttons together, and since radio buttons have this property of only selecting one particular value, unlike checkboxes, so the group value should be same for each and every list style that you want to group together. Like you could have two different sets of radio buttons, so both of them will be having different group values. But if in a single set, the group value needs to be the same. So over here, the title of my radio button is basically the label that will be shown next to the radio button, and it will have a value, um, a string value, which it will use to uniquely identify which value has been selected. So over here, I have declared this string value, and whatever value this radio button group in this set state event, this trainer type will be assigned the value of the radio list style. So this is about radio list styles. Let's move to checkboxes. So unlike radio buttons, in checkboxes, we can select multiple checkbox at a time. So you do not have to initialize a group value for a checkbox. Instead, we will create a list in a checkbox in which all the items which we check will be added. In case we uncheck the checkbox, those items will be removed from the list. So over here, I have initialized a list named as preferred types, and the list is of type string. So you can see that um, the value of the checkbox is basically, it will check basically, so this is a boolean value. It will check if that particular list contains this value fire or not. If it's true, and if we again check on the checkbox, then it will be removed from the list, as you can see over here. And in case it's false, then if we tick on the checkbox, the element fire will be added inside the list preferred types. So that is about checkbox list style. As you can see over here, I can check it, I can uncheck it, and the values will be added in the list and removed from the list accordingly. Next is date picker. So for a date picker, I need to first initialize a variable of type date time. So over here, I have initialized it. I have given it the value, the current time, and here I have made built a function named as pick date. So in this function, I have initialized a picked date time, which shows a date picker in which the initial date is the current timestamp. The first date is the year, starting from the year 2000, and the last date is basically the current timestamp. And in this, I have initialized the small function that if my picked is not equal to null, that is, if it is null, then it will not change the state. But if it is not equal to null, that is, I have picked something, then the date that I will be showing in my form will be basically picked. Let's move on to drop down. So I have used a drop down button form field over here, and the label text I have given is starter Pokemon. So this is similar to the text form field label text. I have given a value to this, which is a string value, and the items inside this drop down list will be of the type drop down menu item. But what I have done here is I have passed in a list of strings, and then I have mapped them to the type string Pokemon, and the value and the child will be of type text. So these will take the value Pikachu, and also the child, which will be the value that will be shown inside the drop down button form field, that will also be this particular value. So I have added a validator here. So in case if we do not pick up anything, then it will show message saying select a starter Pokemon. When we change this, then the current value that we pick will be assigned to this variable starter Pokemon. Let's move on. So the next thing that we will be seeing right now is a dialog box. So once we have filled all these details, so here you can select any date. Um, it won't allow you to select a date which is further than the current date. So I'll be choosing a past date. Once I have done this, I will be using my starter Pokemon. And now, as you can see, the button is enabled. So to disable this button, basically, what I have done is I've used the ternary operator. So the question mark and the colon is basically the ternary operator. The question mark acts as an if, and the colon acts as an else. So basically over here, the form key current state dot validate. This checks if the current state of your form is validated or not. In case it is validated, it will show, and I press on the button, it will show me this dialog. In case it is not validated, it will be null. That is, the button will be disabled till that time. So once, this is basically an alert dialog box in which I'm just showing the message, are you sure you want to submit? And I have used two buttons inside this elevated dialog box, alert dialog box. Whenever you use a dialog box, be it alert dialog box or any other dialog box, you need to show it inside a show dialog. So once you have done this, I have basically, if you click on cancel, it will pop. And if you click on OK, then it will pop. And then I have used this another element called as the snack bar. So basically, when I click on submit and I click on cancel, it will just pop. But if I click on submit and I click on yes, this will pop and a snack bar will be shown saying the message application success submitted successfully. So this was all about form. And I hope you like my content. I hope you like the videos that I am posting. And please do like, subscribe, and share my channel. Thank you so much. I will see you soon.